Here we are, punters, back again at the Emerald. No race-free Monday.
Race-free Monday, because I'm on the quick backup, mate.
On the quick backup. Well, you went so well first up last week.
No, I think I might be a fresh place player. I'll see how I go today. Not about the quick backup. I might be like rock and gold, mate. Fresh horse.
Yeah, that's
fresh runner, mate. But anyway, here I am. Race-free Mondays, mate. I'm able to come in back again, mate. So.
A lot of punters loved it last week, DK. The feedback was
good.
Was terrific.
Yeah.
I saw a few of them gave you a bit of encouragement there on Twitter, which was good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. No, it was good. It's good to be back, mate. So hard to beat at the Emerald Hotel on a Monday, mate.
That's it.
Lovely.
Yeah, beautiful. So
how was the week?
It was a bit of a brutal week. I actually went back over the results and you look at that set of bets and think they'd win a lot more times than they'd lose, but it's just one of those weeks where the results wouldn't fall for us, DK.
Yeah, right.
So there's a couple of races that I suppose made a bit of a mess of, but about 3 horses in the one for later race, no with space. Coming off a soft. So the Addison, Shenandoah and So Splendid all coming out of that soft Caulfield race, and then they go into a brutal race at Flemington.
Yeah,
and
horse back in distance.
Yeah, so there you go. It's hard to. So that was one mishap, and can't think of the other one, but there was another race where I was wide of the mark. But the rest of the week, we're in every finish, and a lot of the races, 2 of the horses that are backed fought out the finish, but every result went the wrong way.
Yeah, you're in one of those runs, mate.
So on Wise Hero Malays, Wise Hero was much better.
Could win Malays was again, get Golfing.
Yeah, and they're going better.
Definitely going better. And different, just change, haven't they? They're using D Lane.
Yeah. You
know, and Craig, and the jocks have changed, and obviously things have changed there.
So definitely going better, but then we hear there's a big rift in the camp this morning.
Oh, was it?
A big blow up between Darren Beedman and James Cummings.
Oh, really?
So I don't know what that all means.
Okay.
So, there we go. And then I was on both Mohammedi's and Almighty Crown, and Almighty Crown was a big result.
We spoke about the Waller horses coming down and those improvers, and
it ran exactly as I thought. Mohammedi's just found the line this time, whereas when we were riding at Caulfield at 1400, it just didn't quite.
You've had a few of those lately, Golden Mane and whatnot. So
Anyway, so it wasn't a disaster, but it wasn't it wasn't a winning week. So we'll just dust ourselves off and butter up this week and see what we do. Now I've had a look at the Wednesday meeting at Ballarat. Now, first of all, before we go into that, so it's a pretty lacklustre meeting, which I think is a bit disappointing because I thought the Caulfield Twilight last Wednesday was really good. I thought it was a good concept and people seemed to like it.
Everyone seemed to love it. Positive. Everyone was positive feedback everywhere. I mean, so it was great, wasn't it? So now we go. Unfortunately, we couldn't put a few together there. It's just going to a dull rate. I haven't looked at the fields; they're a bit skinny, are they?
Yeah, it's a really mediocre meeting. So for my guys, I'll probably do just parts of that meeting for the full subscribers, and I'll do a lot more of the Friday night meeting at Moonee Valley. So all of my full set subscribers, whether they be Wednesday or Saturday, will get everything I do for Moonee Valley Friday night. So I'm sure that Moonee Valley meeting will be good. Hopefully Caulfield's all okay.
I saw Mick, it's going to be hot days, so they might have to fiddle around. It's 239-degree days on the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, so I don't know what their options are there. They might be able to
Mick Woody was sprouting for an early start. He was kicking up for an early start, and then Tim Bailey came back and said maybe a Saturday twilight or something, and a Friday night into a Saturday twilight or something.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? That would be good. That'd be ideal. I'd like that.
I think they'd probably prefer that. I mean, starting at 10 AM might be good for. It's not really good for wagering, I wouldn't have thought. But
no, if the weather.
But they want the recreational. All everyone's sitting there bored at mostly 10 o'clock waiting for the races to start. But
definitely,
the recreational dollar is sort of more powerful at late in the afternoons, of course.
Yeah. So if the weather allows that, I would think a similar. What was the first race I went to? 3:30 or 4:30? Yeah.
4:30 or 4 o'clock, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. It's 9 races, so they'd probably have to be.
They just have to be careful because that can be the hottest part of the day, isn't it? When it's dry day, so I just have to watch it. Anyway. Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, so that was. I thought that concept, and I'm looking forward to the Sandown ones. I just hope the punters take to the Sandown ones in a similar vein. But it's a great track to bet on Sandown. Yeah,
I love it.
Yep.
Anyway, so something caught your eye last week, DK. They had.
Well, Harry Findlay was in town, who's a long-time professional punter from the UK.
Yep.
He's been here for the Magic Millions. I think he must be here for a month or something, and he was down. And BZ Brett Zareffa went and found him at Caulfield at the Twilight meeting and got him on for an interview for 10 minutes or so, it was whatever, and then they obviously followed up, and Shane Anderson grabbed him for a good interview on after the last on racing.com, and it was yeah, so it was great. He's a great character, great history, you know, long time great punter, seen everything, won and lost a lot of money and survived the game, and I just thoroughly enjoyed listening to him. Made me feel normal, you know. He spoke about you know, not being able to sleep after strip outs and you know, things like that, and you know, the roller coaster and things like that. But you know, if you're going on a losing run these days, you keep away from Twitter, because at home are, you know, the Oracles and everyone wins there. It's not many. So if people do actually lose, and you know, but he was great. I thought it shone. You know, there's characters in our caper. You know, we don't get much publicity and things like that, but
there's someone being really honest about what professional punting's or how it is in reality.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you've got the skills and you're willing to work hard enough, you can have success, but it's brutal, and it will be a roller coaster. You know what I mean? Like Harry's probably on a bigger roller coaster than I would recommend, or I would want to go on myself, because he's quite, he's very opinionated, and he's quite manic, and he's targeted in what he does. So he's I've read his book. The book's good. I'll pass on.
I'd love to. That makes me want to read the book now. So
yeah, and it's definitely worth a read. And he's done some really interesting things. And I think his views on punting are very honest. You know what I mean? Like, even about himself. So it was really good.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely look up that interview with Shane.
No, it was great. Yeah, it was great. He's easy to listen to, and
I saw him with BZ, and it looks like they had nothing. Like, and Harry was fantastic, but I could see BZ was like skating the edge a couple of times, thinking, "Oh dear, I hope I don't get myself into trouble there."
Yeah, well, apparently BZ ended up out for dinner with him that night.
Oh, did he?
So which will be great fun. It'd be great dinner company. And I know some guys who used to, in the old days, he used to come across for carnivals, Warrnambool, and when Simon Beasley and that was bookmaking, and a few of the clerks and that mates who used to work for Beasley, and that got out with him down at Warrnambool, and said he's great company. So he's has to grow one of the great characters, but
he's a character, right?
There is a lot of characters in the punting, and
there's a great story about him, DK, in the book about he went to a charity auction, and the Australian cricket team were auctioning off the right to be 13th man for a day at a one-day match. Look, probably expecting someone to buy it, a kid would turn up, and it'd all be, you know, like a good PR exercise.
Yeah.
Well, Harry goes, "Oh, this is a one chance only. This is I'm buying this no matter what."
Yeah.
I think he paid 40 grand for the right to be the 13th man for the Australian cricket team. And like at the start, they were all like, "Who this bloke's like?" He's on the bus, and he was just into it from the word go. And then who is this bloke? And then before long, he's discussing tactics with Punting. And it wasn't that long yet. I'm not sure if the game had started yet or what had happened, but they had to confiscate his phone off him because they thought this could just blow up into a complete media PR disaster.
Yeah.
It was a very funny story.
Yeah.
But, I think they all enjoyed his company, and still a lot of them are friendly with him. So
another interesting thing he said was he likes, like, he has his own position, taking prices up, has his position, then talks to his other people, clever people about the same race or the same thing, and just if there's any, just picking their brains, and it's constantly, so he might make some adjustments and things like that if he might have missed something. Yeah. And it's something I do. It's, I like having a chat. We've got a little team of people we sort of touch base with, and I've got a couple of guys I talk to on a daily or weekly basis, and just I spoke about some ratings with a guy this morning, one mate of mine, and just going to make a little tweak, just constantly trying to improve and change and make things better. So it's rather than just being locked into your own thing, it's just nice to be a little bit flexible. And,
definitely. So I was listening to RSN this morning, DK, and I just thought it was interesting.
Jury Duty, whatever it's called.
Jury Duty. So Mick Sharkey was the host.
Oh, yeah, saw he's on for this week, the Shark.
Matt Stewart and...
Michael's doing the tennis, isn't he, Michael Felgo? So he's guest host, sorry. And
Matt Stewart just decided to unload this time. Look, over the course of this year, he's had a fair crack at ratings experts, fair crack at people that only worry about sectional times, video watchers, track walkers, and today it was trial watchers. Just launched into trial watchers.
Launched into them?
Yes, haven't, basically, as far as what he could tell, they haven't got... Look, what had happened, they crossed to the jump out for winks, and they were talking about that afterwards. They go, now what do these trial watchers think they're actually going to see? And they were all spruiking Amber Watch.
Amber Sky.
On Friday. you know, what are they going to say about Winks? And well, look, and I do know recently that Matt's made a real point of making everyone aware that one of his boys is working for Mick Kent. I'm just wondering if these comments about trials and everything are a bit, you know, paid for by the Cranbourne Trainers Cabal. Anyway, what can I say to Matt as far as, and I think he might be at the Emerald for lunch today, so we should try and get him on here.
A few more of them first. Yeah, entertaining.
Anyway, we'll sort him out if we see him. But Matt, trials and jump outs are about horses that are unexposed. Jump outs of horses that are exposed are of little or no consequence, but horses that you know nothing about, and the only thing you can get hold of is a jump out. It's very useful information.
Very useful, and that's particularly for me because I'm starting with the unraced horses in my, you know, for most of what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to build a profile on them as soon as I see that first jump out. You know, because sometimes it's all I've got to go on.
Every horse I see for the first time when I jump out, I like to condense it to a number, but I have an assessment beside it, and I'm always interested to see how close I was to the mark and how long it takes them to get to that mark, whether they were able to produce it at their first run or whether it's their next prep or whatever it might be. But yeah, look to me, in my view, is the punters in these general issues is that there are edges in videos, there are edges in jump outs, there are edges in walking the track, there are edges in pricing markets correctly, there are edges in, what have I missed, DK? In doing speed maps.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay. Big one there.
So there's edges in all those things, and if you ignore any of them, you're missing opportunity, but that's okay. You don't have to take every opportunity. No. You have to pick and choose the ones that suit you. And people that are one-dimensional, they are limiting themselves to a degree. Well, but, you know, like it just blanket potting people because they're a ratings expert or a trial expert or a track walker or whatever. It's just a bit. It's almost like that's too hard for me to do. So anyone that does it, I want to think that they're wasting their time. So yeah, that's my assessment.
Yeah. And that's if you look at the computer models, like you said, there's edge in this, edge in this. Well, how many factors? There's something like 200 factors which they weight for a horse or a race. Yeah. You know, this and all different weightings. That's how many different variables there are. So just because Amber Sky jumped out and tried like a Learjet, there's another. It's an 8-year-old bloody ex-Hong Kong horse who, you know, this and this. There's so many different factors, and that's one of the reasons why I got easy in the market. Yeah. And you'll find I'll find that the trial watchers and the trial punters and the jump out punters, they have the itchiest fingers on the early market. They cannot help themselves. Yeah. So they just go. They just shoot way way before the 9 AM rules and everything like that. Yeah. So that's why those things generally get back out. I think once the
that's a really good point there. I love it when I find a horse that's looked fast at the jump outs, but I think it's vulnerable because it's lacking fitness for this race, and I know those trial watchers are going to be on it. Yeah. I'm looking for an opportunity to capitalise in that race.
Yeah, exactly. So, exactly, and as you said, lead them into while they're making that mistake. Yeah. Let them run with it. Yeah. As you said on the last show, you know.
Yeah. So anyway,
well, speaking of while we're on it, I mean, Robbie Rivers, I mentioned on the show last week, just amazing how it happens. I mean, I just said that he'd been quiet, and would he have 6 or 7 winners for the week? Yeah. Did he?
I think I went and looked at his previous 50 runners. I think he'd had either 1 or 2 winners, and then in his last 20 he's had 6. So it's just brilliant, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. If anyone wants me to play him back into form, anyone struggling, just hit me up on Twitter or something like that, and I'll give you a little pot, and you'll just knock up trainer winners.
I joined him, and I was talking about his habit of sending a lot of horses to the gates with the clerk, right? And it makes sense when they're really young and they're learning, right? Because it can educate them. But once they start to get a bit older, to me with some horses it just makes no sense at all. So the best example I can give is Hula Star. Punters, go and watch Hula Star's last, I think it's either 3 or 4 runs. So she ran yesterday again, and he did it again yesterday. And it took her more than half the race to warm up. She's trotted all the way to the gates, she's not properly warm, can't get warm in the first part of the race, and he's starting to get into a stride for the second half.
So,
but I'm not a horseman. I'm an observer of all these things.
Yeah.
So like I could have backed to all stage. So as soon as I saw going to the gates with the Clark, I went, no, not for me, thanks.
Yeah. Well, it's just they got him. He's like Classic Diva won it.
Yeah.
The Twilight meeting of the day. So on racing.com, yes, Robbie, well done. Classic Diva, and what's your opinion on the race-free Mondays and the Twilight racing at Caulfield? If it's good for turnover, it's good for racing, he said. Robbie Griffiths, president of the Australian Train Association. So don't worry about those secret jump outs at Cranbourne, where we've had another 4 winners. We had 2 at Sale and another one beat me at Moe and all that. Don't worry about all them. But if it's good for turnover, it's good for racing. But except when it comes to secret jump outs at Cranbourne.
Yeah,
that's my rant for the week.
Yeah, well, I had someone discussing it with me this morning about the jump outs, and they're of the view that the owners should get first crack. But the problem is you have to have someone on the other side of the bed. So as soon as, if it's a city race, as soon as I see unseen first starters, I just don't do that race because I do not want to bet into that race myself, and I don't want my subscribers betting into that race. So if I'm like that, and just say Ralph's the same and Trevor Lawson's the same and whatever else, you're taking a lot of money out of the pool, and the big teams only get involved in those races very, very late. Once everyone's had to show their hand.
Show their hand, that's right.
So the point is, when the early market goes up, the corporates are first of all going to put up a high percentage, and then they're going to be very defensive.
Very sensitive.
Right? So if it's an owner, the only way he's going to get a decent bet on if he's a dead set pickle the rest of the time.
Right. Oh, I've said it, so then watch it. It'll come on. It says, Darren Potter wants 1,000 each way. This thing at Cranbourne race 1. What's his 10 to 1? What's his limit? How much is his win and loss? Quick. Betting 300 each way. So 300 each way. Turn it into $6. Yeah. Right, he wants the other 400 each way at $6. You're betting. Sweet. Now make it $4. And that's it. So the owner's got his bet on now. It's been 11 into 4. That's how it works in those joints. I've worked there. Put the owner on and you get a sniff of money, and now it's 3 to 1. Yeah. Now what happens?
I'm sure what the owners would like is that there was a proper market with 20 bookmakers operating on it, all to say $2,000 limits, and you could back it to win 50 or 60,000 at the opening price. Within the current environment, the opening price is almost it's confetti. So anyway,
I mean, apparently, I believe that we can't get Cranbourne jump outs with jockeys and with colours and names because the trainers won't buy in. So that's why. So anyway, part 2 shots. Away we go.